Hey guys, welcome to Coaching with Chris. I'm pretty excited today. I get to introduce you. If you don't know Robyn, you're gonna get to know her pretty good today. Robyn is an icon. She's done such an amazing job in building her career. Cool story, amazing scripts, amazing coach, amazing coach. And I got to have the privilege to be on a call with her for almost a year. And it was like one of my favorites. Like, how about this market right now? Is this crazy or what? But maybe we're coming to the end. But Robyn, welcome to Coaching with Chris. How are you?
I loved your intro. I was like, ooh, that gets you like a little fired up just even in 10 seconds.
Yeah. I said, look, we can't have a boring intro anymore. We have to have get me pumped up a little intro. And so Raiden came up with that. I thought he did a dang good job.
You did a dang good job. Bravo.
So how is life? Your kids are getting married. You got the little ones. It's just got to be pretty fun right now.
It's pretty darn fun right now. Life is crazy. So for those of you guys that don't know me, I have 5 grown adult children at this point. So I was a very young mama when I was initially in the industry. And so, yeah, I have 5 kids, unintentional. So 3 of them are triplets. They are 24. All of my kids are married, and I have 6 grandbabies and counting. So kind of insane. It's like in mortgage years. I've been married for long enough, Chris. I have enough kids, and I've been in the industry. I'm knocking on 30 years in 27. So I'll be 30 years in the industry in October of 27. And so in dog years, I'm like 186.
And you know what? I didn't know it was legal to hire somebody in the mortgage industry when you're 11 years old.
Yeah.
Apparently it is.
Child labor. I'm not opposed.
What did having the triplets teach you and relative to the mortgage business? Because that had to be first you're Robyn, just to let you know, you're having 3. To the reality of, babe, how are we going to get through this? To it's here and now it's survival mode, going through all of that, not only to mention then grade school, middle school, high school, the college opportunities and choices, to marriage. How did that correlate to the mortgage industry?
Yeah. I think that, I'll give you a couple tidbits for all the women in the audience. I mean, there was one of the best things that happened to me was chips on my shoulder. And I think all of us get chips on our shoulders at any given time. And I think we can choose what to do with them. And I call them chips because I think chips are something that you use, hopefully for the good. Weights are something that you use, right, that paralyze you, right, that hold you down, that make everything feel heavy.
So good.
And I really chose to make sure that those things became chips, not weights. And the biggest part of that, I was processing at the time when I had our first son. I was married, but a mom at, just shy of my 22nd birthday. And then on the second pregnancy, intentional pregnancy, unintentional mass reproduction, when they told me at almost 12 weeks that there was 3, I about fell over. And at the time I was working for top producers, both with our first and then with our second. And both of them kind of eliminated me within weeks of knowing that I was, going to be a mom. And I think, those weren't really the HR days, if you will, 20 plus years ago, but, small mom and pop shop, and people just kind of saying well, that's going to be a burden, right? That's going to weigh her down. The odds of her being able to do what she does, I was processing pipelines of 50 plus units, which was so good for me because it just let me touch and see all sorts of different loans. But, I think what the triplets did was it forced me into a discomfort that we got comfortable with discomfort. And I love that piece of it. And I think you can attribute that to mortgage in general. And the fact that, I realized I'm going to work for $60,000 to $80,000 a year for the rest of my life, tied to a desk, if you will, or I'm going to take risk, and I'm going to try to create a life that can only be created by being uncomfortable, right? Can only be, it's all of us have chosen. I say it all the time. We choose a zero or a hero, if you will. And I don't say zero as in you're a loser if you work on a W-2, but zero risk versus you get to be the hero of your own story. And I recognized pretty quickly that, hey, feeding 4 kids, and then we adopted my husband's nephew a few years later, because why not? And so feeding 5 kids, being a mom to 5 kids, one, yes, I needed flexibility, but more important than that, we needed financial stability, and we didn't have it. And so when you don't have a choice, you do a lot of really good things in your life. And I think one of the things that's dangerous for all of us every day, I joke all the time, and I think all of us could say, if you reflected just on last week, Chris, as an originator, but you were an employee at Costco, would you still have a job on Friday? And I think for a lot of us, the answer is sometimes no, right? No, gosh, I ran late, didn't do the work I said I was going to do, didn't get things done. Can you imagine just showing up and being like, sorry, didn't get all those vegetables? Wars, ran late, checked out, took a long lunch, didn't really feel like it, had an emotional moment with a customer. So that shut me down for 4 more hours, couldn't get work done. And so, the being uncomfortable puts us in a position of making choices, right? And so the triplets for sure put me in a place where I was like, my husband especially was like, we got to do something. And you should go do what these loan officers are doing. And lucky for me, because I started in the business as an 8 to 5, really probably an 8 to 10 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Right.
Saturdays
50 files are hard to get done. 8 to 5.
Working, yeah, running a pipeline, and a big pipeline for top producers. Everybody should be very kind to their processors, just so you know, be very kind. Because, I became that backbone. And so the hard work and the hours weren't something I was afraid of. That was a gift for me. Getting uncomfortable was something I was very afraid of. And so, I just coached for you a couple weeks ago, and loved that group, and got so many kind messages, by the way, after that. Such a great group of people. And one of the things that I talk about a lot was when I very first got started at selling, I really thought, like, I'm an extrovert. I loved karaoke. I like people. I was the captain of my soccer team. I was a cheerleader, I like socializing. And so in my mind, because the processing work I did, so I really knew loans. And so I'll give you guys a 3-word, like I call it the set. And I think there's 3 things that we need to constantly be evolving in. And 2 of them are fairly non-negotiable. One of them will equal money or no money. And so I'll go through that really quick, Chris. So the most basic is the knowledge of what the work we are doing, right? Like, you have to have knowledge in the space that you're in. And all of us have different levels. Some of us can hire to fill that knowledge gap. Others of us, have touched tens of thousands of loans and are really know our craft that way. There's not a right or a wrong way to do that. I've learned that. But I had a lot of knowledge. So my knowledge box was pretty robust. Then the second that I didn't realize I needed was sales. And the truth was, I thought sales was friendship, was buddy, was being likable, was having people that, called me, was having a great coffee or lunch where people said, oh, that was fun, those kind of things. And so the sales skill set, I think, probably hit us all between the eyes post-COVID more than it ever has before in the industry. Because all of us thought we were great salespeople because of the amount and the big, the big pipeline. Well, congratulations. Every one of us can sell a 2.5% interest rate, right? Like, turns out you can build, it always cracks me up. People are like, oh, I'm a $50 million producer. And I'll look at their production. I'm like, you were 1.5 years, right? Like, and that's when everybody and their mother was. And that's not a slam. It's just self-awareness that I spent a lot of years doing this, and I thought it was normal in the industry, the ups and the downs, the highs and lows, that mortgage roller coaster, if you will. And the reason for that was that I didn't have legitimate sales skills. And I hate even saying the word sales. Hate it. Like, that about me, Chris. I know that about you. Right? Like, so I had to turn that word. And if this is helpful to anybody else, to this day, every day of my life, I'm not exaggerating, I say, who can I serve today? And so I turned the word sales into serve. And that helps me frame in my mind, not selling, because I consider selling manipulation. I consider serving helping, right? Like different.
Right. Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So,
You
and
know
I
what
can
you're making
pause
me
if
think
you,
about? Like the reason I paused was I was thinking, do I sell Shalice on some things that I would really like to do, or do I serve her, my wife? And I go, well, sometimes I probably try to sell my way into seeing if I could go do this, and I'm like, I don't like that. I don't like that.
yeah,
And I need to serve better. But
yeah,
yeah, I mean, isn't it amazing how a mind shift helps us be able to create more activity, to do more activity, to get a better result, just
yeah.
simply in thinking about the difference between sales and serve?
Yes, 100. For me, and my, like I always joke that my little soft heart, like I couldn't, when obviously I was coached in the core different things, but people going, "You're a salesman," and I was like, "Wow!" Like I don't like it. Like I'm running for the hills when people say those words. And so, but here's the thing: not having sales skills, just having people skills exhausted me in business. And I just want to say that out loud. And the reason that it exhausted me was that everything was based on relationship. Well, relationships take constant interaction to maintain a relationship. How many of us have even lost a friendship of somebody that we used to maybe sleep over and hang out and knew our deepest, darkest secrets, if you will, and you lose touch because that's what happens in a relationship that you don't constantly pour into. And it requires a lot. And it's not to say that our business relationships don't transcend, if you will, into some deeper relationships. But the truth is, we all go to work to possess value, right? To end up and not only receiving value, but to give value. And when I think about the definition of value in general, it's time, joy, and money. Time, joy, and money. And the one that we are all at work for every single day is money.
I know.
And it's such a weird, and I really
We
had
would
to get
love
into
to
the
skirt
psychology.
around that and not say it.
Yeah.
But in the end, you can't skip it.
No, and you can't skip it with your referral partners. Candidly, you can't skip it with your borrowers. Like money should be the main topic that you are not only the expert in on strategizing someone's loan, but also every partner that works with you. You should undoubtedly be able to say, I will make you more money than any other lender out there. Because at the end of the day, if somebody were to make that proposition and also follow through on it, they will leave you even if you're their bestie.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not a matter of, and this is where it's like both can be true. People can like you, enjoy you, and find value in something over here that aligns in the work network. Doesn't mean I don't want to invite you to my wedding, that I don't want to hang out with you, that I wouldn't go camping with you and your husband and kids. We all really like each other. But if somebody else can add 60,000 a year into my pocketbook that helps me put my kids into those weddings, into that college, into these things, I'm going there, and so are you. And it doesn't make you a bad person. It means, now I wouldn't do that at the expense of integrity and core values and those kind of things, but
For sure.
beyond, outside of that, like let's get all the, potential narratives and those things out of the way, and just say, it's okay that we, like, it always cracks me up when I sit in a room of realtors and or lenders and I'll go, why do you do what you do? Most of them say flexibility right out the gate, which cracks me up because I'm always like, the freedom and the flexibility. Go tell all your clients that I love my job. I don't have to work that hard. That's my favorite part about it, right? Like
Yeah.
we never
Says
sell
no one,
ourselves
right?
that way, right? Like, and then the other is always, I love to help people. Well, awesome. But what a difference to say I love to help people than I strategically help people build more wealth by having the smartest, right? Like loan options and overall loan consultation assessment, right? I help realtors make more money. In my proposition, it was always, for every deal we close that they refer, I get them 2 closed deals back within 12 months of the transaction. And if they do the math on that, if they close 5 with me, I get them 10 back in 12 months. You do the math on the average commission, roughly, that's somewhere between $120,000 and $150,000 in additional income working with Robyn over a 12-month window. I don't know about you, Chris, but if somebody said, hey, Chris, I'd like you to sign up for a role that will get you $120,000 to $150,000 extra in income without you having to do anything extra special or more work. Would you sign in?
Yes.
Yes. And so I spent the longest time being like, oh, let's have coffee and let me show you my program. And I'll do an open house flyer for you. And I'll do a pop by and, I'll bring you a Christmas gift. And it's not that all those things went away. It's just, they didn't become the forefront of any proposition that I had to working with an agent. I started with value, and I started very specifically eliminating time and joy, if you will. Not that those don't exist at the same time, but I got hyper focused on money, and that you will make more money working with myself and my team, hands down. Yes, we'll still save you time. And guess what? My goal is that we all love each other. But if you don't want to be social and you just want to make more money and get shit done, excuse my language, we're going to accomplish that first, right? Like,
what's the reaction? Like you've changed the narrative of having this discussion. I hope everybody listening is like, understand the true change of the narrative. And by the way, Robyn got to this point to where when she got frustrated that the friend zone didn't put anything in for the Robyn zone, and she needed some Robyn zone. And so she changed and shifted. So now you're like having this discussion with this realtor, like, if you want to make more money, then I want to be able to help you type discussion. What's the reaction? What did they say?
I think the first was always like, at the very beginning, I wasn't great at my delivery, right? And so we improved, right? And
so learning it.
Correct. And one of the mistakes that we sometimes make is we fall off the bike and then we don't get back on. That didn't work. Oh, that two-step close didn't work. Oh, that value proposition didn't work. No, it was shaky the first round, right? Like, it got better over time. And so at the very beginning, I knew that I could do it because I was mapping how many referrals I was giving back, Chris. So I had already perfected systems. So I get to directly lead in my branch as a branch manager. I have 31 loan officers that work for me right now directly. 13 of those are in upper production, right? Clearing 80 plus units a year and, doing really, really, really well. And so I love to grow and double people with keeping hours and time in check, right? That was one of my chips, is kind of being able to do both. I couldn't do that and buddy sell my way through the industry. I couldn't. It was too much like this. I was invited to every baby shower, birthday party, all these things. And the expectation was, and you can ask a room of realtors, how many of you guys sent your most recent lead to the most recent person that bought you coffee or lunch? And the truth is, and please be honest with me, and about 80% will raise their hand, you guys. It's bananas. And so what I recognized was, super candidly, you guys, we do a really crappy job of edifying and giving true value to them beyond, we didn't have a differentiation strategy, I guess. And differentiation means you didn't lower price and you still win the client, right? Like, and I think that what we do is we try to give away time and money to win. And that all of that was reflective in my business, right? Whether it was the commission amounts I was making, it was the roller coaster that I was on and the numbers I was closing. And so when I sat down with those agents initially, I think there was a little bit like, really? And so, it's how. And so I think this is where everybody gets freaked out, the how. Mm-hmm. And so I had to be ready to have proof over promise. And if you're writing, I would love for you to write that word down, like proof over promise.
Proof over promise. So good.
I think we make a lot of promises to people, sometimes way too grandiose, if you will, and we don't have any proof. And so our sales confidence is really not there, because how many of you guys can smell the bullshitter?
Right.
We all can.
Pretty quick.
People can smell sales, right? Like, and so when I'm looking somebody in the eye, and my tone is almost always this way, right? I'm fairly overall energetic, if you will, in my body and energy and my eye contact and my engagement. But I'm very direct. I'm willing to look somebody in the eye and say, hey, Chris, this is going to sound like a sales pitch to you. And I promise you, like, one of my favorite sayings, like I love to use a reference depending on who I'm meeting with, but I'm always like, Jesus, people choose to believe or not believe in Jesus. I'll tell you what, I'd rather believe my whole life and die to find out it's wrong than not believe my whole life and die to find out it's right. And so I think all the time, like, dude, Imagine if a lender truly did refer you back to closed deals for every one deal you closed. And I'm looking at your numbers right now. It looks like you closed 4 with this lender. You closed 4 with me. I'm grateful, by the way. And you closed 2, and then you had a bunch of ones, right? Just random. I'm guessing it's where the buyers chose. And so you want to go into every appointment, you guys, with your research and your promises ready. And you want to have backing that if somebody says, tell me more about that, why, how, versus just that sounds great. And I almost don't let a single agent ever just be like, oh, wow, that sounds great. Because what they're really doing is thinking, okay, that sounds really good. How many of us think something sounds good, but we really aren't banking on it at all? I'm going to give them the proof, even if they don't ask. I'm going to walk them through my system so that they're not questioning whether or not it can actually happen. And I think a lot of us, and I tell my team this all the time, you're not selling your system because you don't run the play every single time.
Right.
Right. And so when we have inconsistency in our system, we have inconsistency in our sales pitch. And that's a big one. Go ahead.
Well, I think everyone's getting to this point. They're like, okay, this sounds fantastic, Robyn. You're going to promise 2 for 1. I'm not saying bullshit yet, but they're at this. I know where the spot right here is, and you've been in this spot for a second.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, okay, how can I do this? And you do have proof over promise. Like, even I see Matt had put that, just loves your quote. By the way, I have so many quotes I've just ripped off from you right now in the last 15 minutes. I got my, always write in Sharpie. That's how my brain works. And
That's
it goes
awesome.
in different spots. I'm such a weirdo. But how in the world are you going to promise 2 for 1? And how can you show them the proof? Because a realtor at this time is like, okay, uncle, I get, show me how you're going to do it.
Yeah, you bet. So let's talk about how we do it. Let's talk about the system. And I'm going to cover a lot in a very short amount of time, you guys. So one, I would encourage you to get pen and paper out. And I would encourage you to not do all of these things, not try to go to your team and yourself and go, I'm going to do everything starting tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're going to have one thing at a time. And we're going to say that is now truly a relied upon behavior. It's a habit, if you will. It's part of the system. Where I find that people get all lost in everything is that they change up how they're doing things. And so let me go through a couple things. First of all, process, and I'll forward you an email, Chris, that I wrote yesterday about process to my group. I write an email every Monday. I'll forward it to you and you can share it with your team. But process, you guys, sets us all free. It allows for you to not only trust and know what's going to happen next, but also you to place clients and agents in a space where you take full control. And here's one of my demonstrations of that. None of us would ever go into any professional's office, and I'll use the doctor as an easy one, and call the shots, even though we're the ones with the insurance writing the check or ourselves writing the check. We would never walk in. Imagine, Chris, if you're a doctor and I walk in and I go, hey, I don't really want to do this whole registration thing this morning. Can I just get with Chris? And Chris, can you tell me what prescriptions you can give me right away? And what's that? Like, I don't really want to do the weight thing, like pass on the whole, blood pressure items. It's so random to me that we have an industry that is proven to give the most wealth in America. The most wealth in America comes from people that own homes, period. It's not even remotely disputable. Mm-hmm. You will be richer than any of the average Americans if you own a home. And so knowing that is our job, and yet we don't follow process to get people through it, is part of where we fall apart, right? Like, and agents are just as guilty, but I realized I can't control the agents. Like, they're going to do what they're going to do. I can control my process. And here's the thing, when you're telling somebody that you're going to get them back 2 deals, you tell them, just like a closing guarantee for $10,000 or $20,000, there's fine print that says you're going to do it the way I tell you to do it. Right. And so versus, oh, you called me and I kind of took a half application over the phone, and then I quoted you some numbers and I sent you a fee sheet. So one, you have to start with some non-negotiables and how your process works. Okay. So for me, yes, I pick up the phone. Yes, I answer clients. Yes, I send an online link. but they have to fall in. It's like when you pull into a car wash, you guys, you know you're going to make it between the lines, if you will, to get washed, but they redirect you to get your tires exactly where they need to be so that you go through smooth, right? That is exactly what we're doing. And at some point, you're closer to the front of the line. I got to get you in alignment with your tires. Does that make sense? Which
Yes.
means, hey, I don't ever not meet with a client face to face on Zoom or in person live, period, in the story. I'm going to give you a couple tips to this. One, all decision makers in the room, period, at that time. We have to get more bold with when we take control versus what we're doing is there's a lead, there's a borrower. I'm down here, they're up here. Please pick me, please pick me, please pick me, please pick me.
That's right.
And when we're doing that, it's like, let me see if I can compete. Let me give you this. Let me tell you, we're doing all these crazy things. They don't know what to expect. And we're just like throwing ourselves at them. We're standing there naked, like you can have all of me, right? And we just met. Like that is bananas. We should never, ever, ever act like that with agents or with clients. And so I'm getting their tires in the chute so that we can get them through the car wash, right? Coming out clean. So always face to face, all parties present, decision makers. It's non-negotiable for me. If you won't meet with me prior to getting quotes, you don't get a quote.
Love that.
And I think we're so soft in that arena, but that's the very first step to creating more referrals. Okay. You can't create more referrals by meeting Chris, hearing he's already pre-approved with US Bank. He's already got a couple fee sheets and a pre-approval letter. And so you skip all steps and hand him back and try to compete on price. You will get 0 referrals from Chris for that. 0, which means your promise to Susie, the realtor, is already starting to get broken. So I make Chris sit down with me. I do a massive edification of Susie, the realtor, right? We spend a minimum of probably 45 minutes. I say probably because I tried to cut mine down. I was about an hour and 20. I got it to an hour. So somewhere between 45 and an hour. We review the entire application. During that process, I'm asking lots of questions, Chris. Lots of questions about the real estate they do or don't own, about their history, about the age of their children, about what they're going to do to go to college and when they're going to want to buy something, about how close their family lives in town, about why they're relocating, why they're leaving, what's going on here, what's going on there. All of these pieces are puzzle pieces that say there's a lead opportunity, there's a loan opportunity. I see that they've got a 21-year-old, or as I ask about their 16 and their 18, they actually tell me they have 5 kids and 3 of them are older. Where do they live now? Now we're going down a path. Does that make sense? Like
Yep.
It's a constant communication and conversation, but you can't do that throwing a fee sheet at somebody.
Right.
And asking them for their docs, right? You have to review. Your application is a book of opportunities.
Yeah.
And we see it as a requirement to get a loan, 1 loan. I see it as a book to find 5 more loans. Does that make sense?
I love that.
Very different in how I see it. So after I do that consultation, even if they didn't work with me, I consider them a client forever, as long as they did that consultation with me. Mm-hmm. We have to get out of our own emotions. And so one of the emotions that we often have is, if you didn't choose me, you're dead to me. And that's not really how it works. And what I mean by that is that sometimes it's a blessing that somebody says, hey, I'm going to go use Chris. And their loan is a really hard loan, a crappy loan, if you will, a borderline loan. You're telling them the truth. Someone else is doing a song and dance. They choose to go over there. You get no egg on your face. You get to stay in contact and connection with them. You get to follow up. You get to check on the agent, and you become a referral source for life for that client who hated his experience with Chris, but loved his follow through from Robyn. I didn't get a paycheck that round, but I never, ever, ever dismiss the future paychecks.
I love that.
And you guys, that just in itself keeps your mindset in a positive place where you don't get paralyzed by the one shopper that left you this morning.
Yeah. So many get paralyzed.
Right? Paralyzed, like sometimes for days. The market's shifting right now and not being our friend. A lot of you guys might have an unlocked pipeline or some files that you're working on, and you get paralyzed over interest rates, which means your value is simply in market conditions, not in yourself. And that's a problem. right?
Yeah.
You have to build value within yourself. And so we go through everything with the clients. I could go through my whole loan consultation, different class, probably different day. And so I have that. And then I ask them at the end what their number one is in the MIT, which is, we kind of start with that and then we end with that. So I'll give a brief rundown of that. Most important thing, MIT. I go over 4 items every time with the clients: the property, if there is one yet, the interest rates, the cash to close, total cash out of pocket, total, right? And then total monthly payment. So when I say total, I get deep into that with clients so that they understand it. And then we really press against what's their max that the computer shows and what's the max that they truly have in hand. And then we prioritize the 4. Okay, we prioritize the 4. If rate remains number 1, I don't care if it starts as number 1, but after that hour that I spend with them, if rate remains number 1, I'll give you guys this line. It works. I'm not joking.
You guys are going to have to write this down.
Yeah, I could play you 10 voicemails from loan officers across the country that don't even work for and with me that have said, holy crap, I did it and it worked. So it's really a takeaway close. And I won't ever say anything works 100% of the time, but it increases your odds significantly. I would say to them, hey, Chris, it's been so amazing to meet with you. And I love Susie, your realtor. She's phenomenal. You and I've talked about that. Now that we've gotten through everything, and rate still seems to be at the edge of everything that you are after. I can't control interest rates. You and I've talked about that. But having the very lowest rate and the lowest fees, I can tell is really at the heart of what you are chasing more than the total monthly payment, the total cash to close on that property. Now, I've talked to them at this point, you guys, about the difference in our pre-approval letter. I've edified some things, right? Like I've made sure. And then I will tell them, I will tell Chris, I'll say, hey, I want to take care of Susie's referrals at the highest level. If you will give me permission, I'd like to, before you leave this appointment, I'd like to put your information in on bankrate.com. You will have 70 lenders calling you and texting you and literally fighting to the death to make sure that you get the absolute cheapest. And if anything, I hope that you got some value out of this last hour. I'll keep checking in on you, but I'm not going to issue a pre-approval letter to Susie because I want you to make sure you represent your offer with who you choose as a lender to work with.
What's the worst reaction you've ever gotten?
Offended. So I literally had a guy that was like really pompous and he pretty much was like, oh, so you don't want to do the work? Like pretty much, and I always relate back to what they do for a living.
Yeah.
I just throw it back on them, right? Like I had one guy who was a college professor, really nice man, and he was super struggling with it, like had a credit union fee sheet, had already shopped, knew he was a really clean loan, really, really clean loan. And I just finally said to him, I said, Chris, it's okay. Like, I'm not offended. I'm truly trying to serve you. I hope you know that. Yes, there's a takeaway in there because I want to work nights, weekends, get those pre-approval letters out, edify, call the listing agent, do all the work that we do so beautifully for someone who's also chosen us, right? Chosen our value that we bring to the table. I'll give you a quick thing. If he says at that point, are you competitive? I always say we're competitive, not cheap. That's one of the lines that I use all the time. We're competitive, not cheap. And if I said, if all things were equal between bankrate.com and me, who would you choose?
Well, you.
Tell me why.
Because I know you're going to take care of me.
So you want me to do it for the same price of the person that doesn't take care of you.
That's right.
So when I ask why, right? When I say, tell me if all things, how many of you guys have had somebody, and I'm sure you have, call you and say, can you come close? Can you match it? And then you match it and they go back to the other lender and keep going on the merry-go-round, right? Because now this is a fun game that you, by choice, participated in.
Yes.
And so I had to really understand that within my own business. And I started saying to somebody like, hey, we are competitive. We're not cheap. And as I've said that, I love the line of, if all things were equal, who would you work with? Oh, you. Why? Well, because you've already shown me this, this, and this. You've talked about your pre-approval letter. Susie recommended you, all these things. So all of those things, are you telling me there's value there or not? Right? And it's a takeaway that can be respectful. It never, for me, is in a tone of anger frustration. It's never pompous. It's never arrogant. It's never combative. I'm the same person energy wise talking about their jobs and their income and all these other great things as I am talking about the takeaway close on the interest rate. But I need to know right then and there. I'll give every client at least an hour of uninterrupted, incredible time, because that's part of my process to get more loans over to the real estate agent, whether they use me or not. But I want to be very clear if they're my client moving forward.
Yeah.
And I will say this, and I say this to all the realtors out there. The reason you're not willing to do that, you're scared to do that. And this is such a simple answer that I hope becomes a chip, not a weight.
Yes.
Is you don't have enough leads. If you had more leads, you would say it. But when you don't create enough leads, you get desperate and you break all your systems and all your processes to get a loan in the door.
Yeah, that's right.
So people are like, how'd you do that? How'd you get so brave? Well, I was producing 150 leads a month consistently, and I was exhausted. So I had to quit doing a dance for every single client in different ways. I had to streamline my process. And here's what's crazy. My conversion went up. Yes, some of my leads went down a little bit. I wasn't hitting 150 consistently all the time, but my conversion numbers went up, Chris, at over 100 leads a month, and my business got 10 times better. My hours went to 45. My husband would have never divorced me, I like to believe, but my husband was much happier, all of those things, my kids. And so I'll move on because I spent a little bit of time on that. But so loan consultation, disclosure is a recap of the loan consultation in a brief form, just MIT, right? So we're spending some time there. I'm starting to edify the agent big time. How much do you love the house? Who are you going to share it with? How many friends have you told at work, right? Like I'm planting a lot of seeds around networking and RAS, reticular activator, to help create more business coming through the door, right? So I'm knocking on.
I love those questions, by the way. Hope everybody caught that. Because you asking that client that question goes, I wonder how many people have I told? Maybe I haven't told enough. Maybe I've told too many. Like you ask that question makes me think.
Yes, 100%.
Which is what you want.
100%, 100%. And then I put them into the process. So they're going to move through the process. After my disclosure call, so at this point, I've done a pre-approval and I've done a disclosure call. No, I had a team at this point in my business. If I didn't, I was doing these steps myself. As I grew, I had to get help. And so, but after disclosure call, I did one, unless I was needed otherwise, I did 1 2-week love call. And then if the appraisal came in high, I did a touch there. So I'll give you guys 2 examples of that. So love call is just checking in, and I'm edifying again the agent, asking questions. I'm not updating them on, you needed bank statements. Let me check on that for you. I know I'm not doing anything on the loan. I'm simply building rapport, right? With the client, right? Like I'm envisioning future, not past. I'm sorry about this. I know this is hard, those things. I'm very much like, what are you going to do to the kitchen? What's your plan here, right? Like, are you worried about the distance between work and, this? Have you test ran it, right? Like we're talking about fun things, different things that are outside of, I know that we asked you for your pay stubs for a 3rd time, right? Like I'm not having that conversation if I can avoid it during that call. I'm trying to create more wins, right? In that process. And then if appraisal's high, simple hack, you guys. We do such a piss poor job of edifying realtors. So one of the things I'm asking every single time from the get-go, from the very, very first conversation I talked about, was I would say, hey, Chris, I'm going to ask you over and over again because of how much I love Susie. And I could tell you horror stories about what a bad realtor costs. But I will edify and show you multiple times during this process how valuable a great realtor is. So one of my jobs is to get Susie referrals. I have to get her some referrals. So if you could help me with that, that would be awesome. I want Susie to walk away with a new listing, a buyer, somebody that says, Chris and Robyn, we're so grateful for the opportunity to work with you. A pro's pro again, Susie.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm asking that on every single interaction. Hey, how are we doing on those Susie referrals? Right. Like I'm literally, and here's the deal, you guys, I'm not asking for myself, which makes it so easy. To say I'm asking for that agent who's already done me this favor.
And you didn't ask once. You're following back up by saying, hey, how are we doing on Susie's referrals?
Correct.
And what did they
Over
say?
and
They're like, yeah, I'm working on it.
yeah, they're great. I mean, and honestly, if I allow the pause, if
Okay.
I allow, because I'm a talker and I'm a speed talker. So my biggest risk always is like diarrhea of the mouth. You know, I'm
Yeah.
like, hey, Chris, how we doing on Susie referrals? I love Susie so much. Isn't she so great? And blah, blah. You guys realize I just asked a question. I never paused for the answer.
Right. Because you went to the next.
Mm-hmm. So we talk through uncomfortable silence when we should sit there for a minute.
Hmm.
So I really learned pace and tone in that circumstance. So I might say, hey, Chris, I can't believe I'm already making what I call love call to you, just checking in and we're talking about these things. And I haven't seen a Susie referral yet. Did I miss one?
Okay, that's good.
Right. And I'm going to pause, you guys. I'm going to awkwardly pause. And every time I coach, teach anything, I'll pause and the whole group will be like, what's happening? You know, like, and then it's like, no, that's strategic, uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's strategic. So power of the pause is a huge, huge thing in how we, in all communication, not just sales in general, communication in general needs more pause.
I love these two tactics because anybody can implement. It doesn't cost anything. It changes the meeting, it changes the tone, and it gets to the point. And we can still be friends, or we don't have to be. But at the end of the day, isn't that why you went to the coffee? Was to get
Yeah.
business, not get
Yeah.
another friend?
100%. And you have to start those coffees. And we didn't go through this part, Chris. But you have to start those coffees. I would start those coffees with, the typical conversations with, thanks for meeting me. And I've heard so many great things about you. And tell me about why real estate, or so tell me a little about yourself. And next thing you know, we've spent an hour or 45 minutes together and we've chit chatted. And I know about their divorce and their dog that died and all these things. And we have not spoken about business. And then it's like we both have to go. And so for myself to control my own social butterflies, some of you guys need to be more charming, more social. Others of you need to be less, more business, right? And so know yourself. And if you don't know yourself well enough, call Chris, have a conversation with somebody and say, am I overly social and chatty, or am I under, right? Am I charming enough? Because for me, I had to tone back in that space. And instead I started every meeting with, I would say, hey, Chris, first of all, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me. This is going to sound a little formal, but do you mind if we kind of skip through personal at the beginning and just talk business right out the gate?
I'm sure they always go, yeah, sure. I love it.
Every single time. I've never had somebody be like, I really want to tell you about my dog and my kids and you know what I mean? Like, I invited you to a business meeting and then I turned it into a friendship meeting when you haven't even had time to have coffee with your own sister lately, but I'm taking 45 minutes of your time and we really like each other at the end.
Right. Yeah.
Kind of exhausting. Doesn't mean we didn't enjoy the coffee. It means I don't have to all of a sudden remember that 1 week from now it's their birthday and show up with a gift and we haven't even, right? Like I didn't pretend I was their best friend. I brought to them, I want to be your lender, period. Right? Yeah. Like I want to be the lender that makes you money, that you work with, that you can count on. And so I'll fast forward to the easy appraisal win real quick, because this is a super easy, simple tactic and takeaway. Y'all should be looking at your appraisals. If your processor does it, just tell them to send you a quick overview on your appraisals in writing with what the sales price was and what the appraised value was. Anytime you see money there, anytime, or at value, you want to edify your agent.
Yeah.
So I do a quick group text every time. I might have Chris on there, Susie on there, and I might say, Chris, appraisal came in today. I've seen no less than 30 appraisals come through our office in the last couple of weeks. 3 have had excess value. Now you walked into $8,000 already out the gate, including seller paid closing costs on your behalf, which means Susie leveraged $16,000 of money for you in this home purchase. I told you she was an expert negotiator.
Totally lifted her up on a pedestal.
Right? Huge lift on the pedestal. And what I want to do is plant seeds where that borrower is thinking, you have to use Susie to any of his friends and family. And I'm guiding that process. I'm planting seeds. And Susie's like, dude, where'd Robyn come from? Like making me feel good today, out of the blue compliment, showing me to the client, right? Like I blow up little things to make them feel major, because the truth is, you guys, we know that there isn't always great agents who do a great job negotiating, right? There aren't. Some of them just, hey, in order to get this house, I got to get a sale done too. I got to get my paycheck, right? Like, so you want to spend some time edifying and making that be a huge win. And it's so simple to do. And we just skip it. Like we're too busy for that 30 seconds of activity that could lead to a deeper relationship on all parts, right? Like lead to more referrals. So that's a big one. And then how do I gain a business from there? 30-day post close. So at the very end of the deal, Chris, you and I are on the phone. I'm still asking about those Susie referrals. Maybe you've already gotten one to me, right? Like, hey, you're going to meet your neighbors. You're going to, right? Like you're going to do all these things. You know, I want Susie to be at the top of your mind. I don't need me to be at the top of my mind because I'm going to be at the top of whose mind? Susie's. Now they'll call me anyways because of all the other things that I've engaged in. And then I'm going to say, hey, Chris, I'm going to call you and touch base right about 30 days post close. Make sure you got your first payment, go through a few things. And then after that, I'm checking on you about 90 days. Just again, we've got lots of connections, things that might pop up on the house. I want to take care of you. From there, we do an annual mortgage review, right? So every single year, I'm going to talk to you for about 15 minutes and just make sure nothing's changed, updates, things that you can strategize in this house. It's your number one asset, right? Like it's the biggest asset that you have. I want to help you be very smart with it, leverage it, and hopefully grow, right? Grow more of those. And then we do 2 client events a year. We're going to invite you to them. We'd love for you to attend, bring people with you. Susie's always at them. She does a great job. So that's one of the things. When you guys set a tone to people that you are going to communicate, you are actually, it's so powerful that you're setting a promise or a commitment with yourself as well. It's self-accountability to say out loud to Chris, I'm going to call. How many of you guys like to be a liar? I don't like to be a liar.
No, right.
So when I say I'm going to do it, now I'm going to do it, right? And it ends up on my calendar. I make those calls. There's more follow-up. Small kept promises build a lot of confidence and a lot of trust from other people. So and then within ourselves, right? So huge win there. And then really beyond that, I co-brand all of my gifting. So instead of anything just being, and I missed this for so many years and it was so silly. I had things like the Berenstain Bears moving book, and anybody who had kids basically about 8 and under, 10 and under, I had a pile of those books. I ordered them on bulk. They had a sticker on the inside, and then I would just write on it real quick before we sent it out. I would add the agent's card and sign their name as well, right? Like, so everything that I did, if Chris, if you and your wife came in and she was expecting and it was very obvious, obviously, and we're having a conversation, you guys are like, oh yeah, we're having a little boy, due in November, whatever the case, I'm going to ship a baby gift to you. I'm going to sign it, Robyn and Susie. And so Susie's getting tagged, remembered, all these things. Whether or not Susie does something on her own, I don't care. Everything I do is going to have Susie be part of it. I only do this for my top referral partners, people that are truly in with me. We've had the meeting, we've committed, and we're in a relationship. And a lot of, what about RESPA? What about, it's a gift for me, you guys. It's a gift for me. And I've just signed that they, are grateful for them too on there, right? Like it's a closing gift from me. So but I co-brand all of my stuff with my agents that are consistently using me. So the combination of all those things, can you imagine getting 2 referrals out of that in a 12-month window?
It's amazing. You've made it so easy that anybody can do this.
Anybody can do it. It's not a big money system. It's not a shiny object. It's simply process, consistency, right? Really knowing and trusting your system, and then selling your system to other people as proof of a promise that you will help them build their business. You will be the value driver back to them because you are so good and so strong in your process.
Yes. Guys, if you love this, you got to share. If you have a question, reach out to Robyn. She's absolutely amazing. But I know everyone's wanting to know, as we're closing, Robyn, you said in the very beginning, you're really social, you're out, you're doing these things, but you said you're a karaoke singer.
Yeah.
So we all want to know, what's the song?
Oh gosh, the song. The song, I do Four Non Blondes, What's Up quite a bit. Okay, so right. I love Jewel. I love to do duets, singing some Brooks and Dunn or Garth or Morgan Wallen, those types of things. But yeah, I'm a mix. My dad, I do Barbara Streisand with my dad when he would sing Neil Diamond when he was
Oh
alive.
my
So
gosh.
my dad was a pro singer. Like you could barely tell the difference in him and whoever he was singing. And so I'm a for sure have two cocktails, listen to me sing some karaoke, and I can hold a tune type of girl. So
I love it. Thank you, Robyn, for being on
thank
Coach
you for
Secrets.
having me.
I appreciate you. Have a
Yeah,
great night.
appreciate you, my friend. Always good to see you.